Hey Helen, I'm heading to the salon. I desperately need a blowout.
We have lots to talk about. Meet you there in 5.
This is the Blowout podcast.
The salon industry is not in good shape.
Sure isn't.
So, welcome back to the Blowout. And today, the lovely Haylee Benton and myself are going to talk about all things customer service and receptionists. And why it matters. Does it matter, Haylee?
It sure does. I think I worked out the other day that salons, on average, reception or customer services cost them £33,000 a year. So that's for minimum wage, 50 hours a week that you're
Per
open.
person.
Just for your receptionist
Yeah.
team as such. So if you had one person on the desk for 50 hours a week, minimum wage, it's £33,000 a year. So I sort of thought to myself, what are you investing in? Is that £33,000 to be for Sally, the receptionist, to go, "Hi, Barbara, how are you?" You know, like this greet. Is it a meet and greet that's for £33,000, or is it more? Like, what is expected now? Like, what do you think? I mean, you obviously have a big reception team.
Yeah, and you know what? For years, I have always said anyone who hasn't got a receptionist is missing a trick, because it's not really okay for anyone. It's not productive time-wise for anyone to leave their client and answer the phone.
No.
And also, who ends up answering the phone? It's like that scene from Fawlty Towers when Manuel tries to answer the phone. It's the junior. It's normally the junior that answers the phone. It's the least trained person when we're trying to upsell and everything else that is actually dealing with the call. So I think receptionists, I've always encouraged anyone who's got a salon to properly employ a receptionist. And for that person to take the load off admin-wise. But here's the thing, people don't give them the right job description and they don't tell them what they want them to do. Because otherwise, yes, the 33 grand is just spent being very nice and, you know, helping someone with their coat and their gown and
making a drink and answering the phone. But it's got to be more than that. I think more so now because we're all having to look at our costs. What are we getting for the £33,000 a year?
Well, anyone unproductive has got to pay for themselves. Even us, you know, we've got to bring the money in. And I always think if you get a really good person at their job, even if they're an admin person, they will pay their wages double every day.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't think people spend enough time actually vocalising what the job description is of a receptionist. And it is not just the meeting and the greeting, is it? Because that can be done by anybody. Yeah. It's the upselling
and
it's
making things efficient.
White space.
Yeah.
And doing the admin stuff in between slack times, you know, that you haven't got time to do. Because, you know, not everyone is like us. Most people watching this are doing their own clients. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
They are running their own and running a column. As someone who's run a column, when I was a terrible hairdresser back in the day, it's not easy, you know?
No. And they need to be utilising that front of house person as their, you know, their right-hand person, really.
Yeah.
That keeps an eye on the diary. You know, if there's cancellations, who's on the waiting list, constantly filling that diary and making sure that it's running smoothly, really. But the amount of, you know, because receptionist costs are going up, for instance, like a really good receptionist is probably, I don't know, they've had some career experience. They might be like 40, 50 years old, but they might be expecting more than minimum wage, which is understandable. But then most people are then saying, well, I can't afford that. So we're going to have to just put the junior on reception, or the person that wants a part-time job after school. They are literally just sitting there on their phone. From my experience, if we let them.
So Julie, who's my general manager, was our receptionist when I first walked into that salon in 1992. She was on the desk, and even now, when she has her break, she sits at her desk and eats her lunch, looks at the columns, rings down, and says, "I mean, they must just be like, oh."
Julie's on the phone.
Julie's on the phone. But she'll ring down and go, ring that client, get her to come 15 minutes later, move that client down, squidge another client in there. And every day she pays her salary just in that half an hour while she's having her sandwich. You know, unbelievable. And so she doesn't understand why some of our reception team don't use their downtime.
Or they're not using their initiative.
To optimise the thing we sell, which is time. We don't sell anything but time. That's what we do.
I just think that not enough people are aware that, especially they're the boss, right? They feel, I don't know, the people I have spoken to, they feel they can't speak to the person, you know, and because once you've let them do it, to go back on the job role is very difficult.
Yeah. It's one of those things, you've got to get on it straight away, haven't you? And training and educating them. The one thing I hate to see, and we have a joke on our desk, because the girls will all say to me, I've got 2 boys, 2 girls on the desk. And when I walk in, 3 girls actually, when I walk in, the phones are never ringing. It's just sod's law. And we all laugh. Whenever I go down to that desk, the phones are never ringing. And I go, I don't know what you lot do all day. I really don't. And it's our joke because they go, it's been chaos the minute you've walked in. So it's just sod's law. But in seriousness, in that downtime, that is the time to do what Julie does and look at everything and see how you can optimise the time. And I think people are a bit static. I don't like static at the desk. You know, get up, you know, move. I just don't like people just sitting there like this. That's what drives me nuts.
Or find out from the stylists or, you know, or beauty therapists how they could improve things a little bit more. You know, do they need that much time for a leg wax?
Right.
Or, you know, or how long does a toner take? Does it take 15 minutes or is it 20 minutes? Like, you know, the timings, because some stylists are quicker than others, you know. Is all the timings correct? Do they have a little guideline so that they're constantly making things efficient?
Because that's a constant tweaking process,
Sure.
isn't it? And one thing it's very good. I mean, it drives the receptionist mad, but the team will always come down, go, don't need that long for that client, get that client in there. You know, they're very engaged with that process, which is great because they're on commission and they're just, you know, terrified that they're not going to maximise their day.
But that's a good point. What's in it for the front of house team?
This is it. I've been trying to find incentives for the front of house team.
It's hard.
For 33 years. I tried to do an incentive on upselling. I did that for a while. Then it gets very grey, doesn't it? About who actually did the upselling. Did the stylist do it? Did the colourist do it? Did the beauty therapist do it? Did the receptionist actually do it? So that became really difficult. You can't incentivise them on retail sales. I just think that does not work because that goes against my whole ethos of things having to be prescribed and, you know, proper bespoke customer experience where that's come from the professional. And none of my receptionists are hairdressers or beauty therapists, so they are not in a position to prescribe anything and they shouldn't be prescribing anything. So you can't incentivise them on retail. It's really only the upselling and the time. It's really hard. I mean, if anyone's got any ideas.
Yeah, we're a bit stuck. Well, you've been trying to figure it out for 33 years.
And I can't.
But it's actually quite easy to find ways to incentivize them, but it's not easy to track it. And that's what we found.
That's the problem.
You know, because you're like, so I could do it on occupancy rate, you know, but then again, is that really down to them or is that just because our online bookings is, you know, easier to use? We could do it on missed calls, but then again, if they've called them back, is that classed as a missed call? You know, because you've missed it, but you've called them back because you might have been on the phone to someone else.
We tried one on Google reviews on customer service, but people don't tend to leave Google reviews on the service of the receptionist. They leave them on the service of the hairdresser or the therapist.
Yeah, it's a hard one because the really good front of house teams, like they don't get enough recognition. You know, I find that really hard to...
And they take a lot of shit. Let's have it right. You know, they're the ones, we've all got those clients, we've seen it. You've seen it with your own eyes that come in, that go absolutely nuts because the stylist therapist is running late, give 10 bells of shit to the receptionist, literally kick off, turn, You know, because we've all got the nice client that turns and you think, oh, actually, you're not who I thought you were. And then the stylist comes down, the one that they've been complaining about, that's running late and kept them waiting and they're busy and la, 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 and then goes, oh, it's probably fine, it's no problem. And the receptionist's like, really? You know, it's a hard job, I think.
Because they don't have the personal relationship, but the stylist does. But then the client feels that they can be rude to them.
Yeah.
Clients are strange sometimes.
Client behaviour is a bit weird, isn't it? And I think the one thing that I would say to any customer of anywhere is that never underestimate the fact that people are clocking your behaviour. I mean, we've had a few celebs that have come in with discount and spoken to the juniors like they're a piece of shit, and then I walk by and they're nice as pie. The mistake is, don't think I'm not going to find out about that. So that's resulted in quite a few discounts being taken away. And, no, I didn't. I wasn't aware. Well, you were, and you do it every time you speak to the junior like shit. That's it. No discount.
And like, we're not afraid to actually say goodbye to customers. Sometimes we're just not the place for you. We're not the salon for you, and good luck. We're obviously not satisfying you. So good luck on your hunt for the right salon.
Said that a few times. And on our WhatsApp group, you can always go, oh yeah, you can see sometimes. And we've sent quite a lot of clients to poor Stephen at Daniel Galvin. He's sent quite a lot of clients to us.
It's a game.
And we're like, I'm sending you over this nutter. And yeah.
But no, I think the front of house role, it's going to get quite interesting in the future, isn't it? It's like...
Well, what about that conference we were just
I
at?
know. The amount of AI stuff that's going on at the moment. But it was amazing how many people in the audience also were like, oh, no, we wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
You know, with the Salon bots type of thing.
The chat bot.
Yeah.
The Gavin.
It's the Gavin, yeah. But I think there's going to be a place for it. It is coming into the salons. It will. But it's how you handle it. Because people... You know, we're going to talk about costs, I'm sure, over the next few episodes. But people are trying to find ways, if their front of house team isn't the best of the best, AI will take over that. You know, you've got to be all there if you're going to be, you know, getting quite a lot of money each year.
Don't you think it's one of those things? Because as I was listening to the two presenters talking about AI, and you do, part of you, your business head is going, this is great. This is great. But the other part of you says, this is not great, actually. This is not what the reachable customer experience is all about. It's not about that. So, yeah, it's that classic embrace and discard what works for you. But I do think with things like that is, you know, the more... I remember, like 10 years ago, watching my nephew on his phone and thinking, he's like 25 now. I saw was on his phone. Can't believe it. What's he doing on his phone all the time? Now that person is me. And I do think once it becomes a norm, a public norm, and people get used to it and people understand, then I do think there is a chance to embrace some of it. But then if you're embracing some of it and some of the back of house functionality perhaps, then it's even more important that you upskill the real people in your business about what impacts they can make to the company's profitability.
Yeah.
And how it's on them. They do have a responsibility to be conscious of that, don't you think?
I completely agree. And I think it is scary what AI can do, but if it's managed right, it can save the business quite a lot of money. You know, for instance, all those random phone calls that you get all the time of, you know, I don't know, how long before I can have a shower for a spray tan? Those sorts of things can be answered. So we're creating a Wikipedia type of thing for our spas and salons. So we use a thing called Air Call. So anyone that calls up, everything's recorded. But it's also got AI, so we can see all the transcripts of the most common things that people call up for. So it's really interesting. So then we use those transcripts and then we create little documents about FAQs, what can I come in for? What can't I do after I have this treatment, that type of thing. So we're trying to save time because I know that eventually Some people will want to just WhatsApp a chat bot. You know, they just want a quick question. But there will be still those people that you want to build that personal relationship with. Like, what percentage of online bookings do you get? Do you know?
It's going up. I would say it's probably 20%.
Okay.
Not as much as I'd like it to be. But then again, I do think it does help set you apart a little bit.
It does. Yeah.
You know, there's a manicure brand. I'm not going to name it just in case. There's a brand of like nail bars, particularly in London, but I think they're actually spreading out in the UK.
Oh, I know who they are. Yeah.
You know who I mean. And you check in online and you do all that, which looks great. But, you know, this isn't Heathrow Airport. You know, there's like one person sitting there. Now, I think that's technology for technology's sake.
Yeah. And we copied that, actually. So I went into that particular nail salon and looked into their screen, figured out who made the screens, figured out what booking software it was, and it was all custom built, this thing.
God, you're a woman, aren't you? Honestly.
But so we tried it. We got the check-in screen. And do you know what kept happening? Like, we didn't replace the receptionists, like the all front of house. They were people, there was the screen on the door, then they saw a person and they went to the person. They want to talk to the people.
Of course they do.
So we tried it, invested quite significantly in it, but it didn't work. And also it took away that personal touch. So I would rather take away the phones, which I have done, and outsource to the, you know, our team in the Philippines. But again, just to reiterate, they are our team. They're just in a different country where they're not a call center. So I think it is quite, it's a tricky world that we're about to go into. But you can utilize AI more.
It's going to be interesting to see how. I mean, I don't know if you've seen some of these things on Instagram. These hair up machines that. I mean, is that a joke? Is that AI? Is that computer generated?
I'm not
rubbish?
sure. I've seen the ones with the eyelashes, the little robots.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I don't want that near my eye.
No.
But they are saying in 3 years' time, Elon Musk just said this, in 3 years' time, robot surgeons are going to be way better than normal surgeons.
I've read that.
So you're sort of thinking, if I wanted my eyelashes done and someone's getting heart surgery, would I trust the robot to put the eyelash on? I don't know.
So it's been puzzling me about how these robots, and if it's real, because I'm quite cynical and I think, is that real? Someone just
or is it
made
AI?
AI thing. It's been puzzling me of how this is going to fit into our sector. What's going to happen? Because if someone can perform heart surgery, a robot can perform heart surgery, then surely they can do a haircut. Ooh. So how is that going to slot in? And I'm absolutely sitting on the fence at the moment of how I think things are going to pan out.
But, you know, colour, I think is going to be a really interesting thing. And I feel really bad. Again, I'm not a hairstylist, not a hairdresser, but a lot of the craft is in the mixing of the colour, right? And you you get your L'Oreal colour degree, for instance, and you understand.
It's the choosing of the colour,
It's the choosing of the colour, the science behind the colour.
Yeah. But it's the undercoating and all that.
You can go onto ChatGPT. I could literally go, oh, okay, so Helen's hair is like this. Take a picture of Helen's hair, me, and I can put in what L'Oreal or what Wella colour do I need to make this colour to this colour. And it will tell me.
But the thing about that is it will not have to do the consultation to find out that 6 years ago I had peroxide on this bit of my hair, and 8 years ago I had cancer, and so this bit of hair is quite thin. And 6 months ago this happened to me, and that's all what happens in the consultation.
But that's a history thing, right?
Yes, but it's an expertise thing, isn't it? It's about understanding. Okay, so it looks like it's 8, a number 8 on the shade chart, but actually. What's it been through? Because this bit of hair is now 7 years old. What's it's been through in the last 7 years?
Don't know. Could you put a strand of hair?
That's the expertise of like my technical director, for instance, to be digging down and asking the right questions to know how that's going to affect his undercoat choice, which will affect his
AI
shade
will
choice.
find a solution. that they'll take a cut. They'll cut your hair and they'll put it in a little. I'm just making this up. I have no idea. Elon's probably sort of something out.
Blimey.
But they're probably, you can take your strand of hair, put it in a thing, and it will tell you your history. But like genes or whatever, genetics.
Probably.
I don't know, but I think what it won't replace is the personal element of someone who wants a human consultation.
That's what I was just going to say. Because let's be honest, every hairdresser I've ever had working for me who's been really fully booked and busy, they've all been good hairdressers. But the ones that have been particularly fully booked have always been the ones that have that absolutely brilliant banter and service and remember details about their customers and all that.
They might not be the best technically.
No. Having said that, have you ever gone onto Chat GPT and actually asked it a very personal thing or put in something about, I put in something about my father dying recently and how I was feeling about that and falling out with my family and stuff. Anyway, another story. And my word, they're a very good therapist at the other end of that.
Yeah.
And it was like, yes, Helen, you feel like this because of this. And
it's
this
understandable, Helen.
This, and Although in that conference, somebody said, didn't they? One of the speakers said, yeah, but if you query that and go, oh, I don't think I feel like that because of this. I feel like that because of probably this. They go, oh, yes, you're right.
You're always right with ChatGPT.
You're always right. Yeah. I love it. Mr. Right. It is Mr. Right.
Yeah, it's a dangerous game to play, but I think we're in for a very interesting 10 years because if, for instance, me, let's just say, I'm so useless with my hair, right? Completely useless. But I'm pretty sure if someone gave me a pot of something to paint on some hair, I could probably do that. Maybe not very well, but I do think the craft of hair colouring, because of the technology, they're not going to be thinking about how to choose that. The computer is going to choose it for them. So therefore it makes the industry, because I don't know whether you've had, but we've had a lot of people who say, I just do cutting because I tried to get into colour, but my brain just couldn't compute. Like I love hair, I love styling, but I can't do colour because I don't feel like I'm smart enough.
Which well, that's sad that they would feel like that. But I do think specialisation is critical for really having a high price point. I don't want to go to someone, I've always said to you, haven't I, surgeon, tree surgeon, plastic surgeon, brain surgeon, can't be all of it. Pick your lane, stay in your lane, be an expert at something. But colouring, I think colouring is such an unexact science. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know and it's only when you drill down into the lifespan of that hair and what it's been through. And even if you put all of that data into ChatGPT, how's it going to assess, what's the right choice of colour? Because its application is, I think, 20% of it. 80% of it is the science behind choosing.
Yeah. Well, I think that's just one example of how AI will come into the salon or the spa. It just will happen.
It will happen I think it will happen when the customer becomes okay with it. Like the booking online.
That took
we
a while,
couldn't
didn't
have
it?
adopted it 10 years ago, even if we had the functionality to do it, because the customer mindset was not accepting of it. Now, people are very okay to book online. Even if they're in my mum's age, 80s, they'll book things online. They know how to do it. So I do think it's sort of led by the customer, and we have to be ready to pounce and ready to save costs and adopt things if people want them.
Yeah.
But it's like, I was reading something the other day about like TV, and it's going off piste a bit, but it just really resonated with me that, young people now, they don't watch terrestrial, they don't watch BBC One and, they don't watch these stations. They watch things on their phone. They watch things on demand. They stream things. They don't watch a TV, apart from my son watching the blinking football every 10 seconds. But, they don't tend to do that. And so, the old school of watching TV is dying. I still watch, news at 10 and Question Time and Channel 4 News and all those things, and they're part of my routine. But that's dying out. I'm dying out. right? So the new is coming. So I do think a lot of things, as much as we know it's coming, it's when the customer feels comfortable with it that you can really adopt it.
Completely. And I think, online booking is always a tricky one. But I think for our main hair salon, that is like 40% or 50% online. But for the spa, the original one, that's almost 70% of people booking online because it's easy.
Yeah.
Because you can just quickly book a massage. But where people get confused with hairdressing is there's so many different types of, what do you need? A toner or
people,
how long is my hair? It hasn't quite got there yet, but with the help of AI in the booking softwares, that will soon change as well. So it's a tricky one, but just going back to our original point of cost saving and reception and front of house, I think it's worth a conversation with your front of house team, whoever they are, receptionist, front of house, whatever you want to call them, to say, talk to me about AI. Do you know much about AI? Could AI help us in our business? Could you look into it? Because what you also want to do is plant a seed that if they don't do a really good job, AI will do it for them. AI can do a better email than they can to a point. So it's kind of making them part of the journey and making them utilize it, but also making them understand that it could take their job. It could.
It's a really good point, and I think it's probably a good time then to refresh their job descriptions and say, if it takes away some of the burden of basic stuff, then it leaves you the time to do what I really want you to do, which is upsell,
the personable
be
things.
very personal with your customers, create that ultra client relationship that's unique.
Yeah, so maybe, like you say, reposition it as, look,
that's a good
obviously
idea.
AI is coming. Let's have a conversation and what parts can we use for your job? And if you're not using ChatGPT, I mean, it is great for a really difficult client, but then it's only as good as the email that you originally write.
Yeah.
It makes it lovely and polished, but I'm at the point now whereby sometimes I just send a normal email and I'm like, oh, I did an email all by myself. I want it to feel...
Really? I don't use it for email, you see, but I would use it for, I've really started to get into it and using it for things that are just mundane, like rotas and stuff like that,
Yeah.
It's really good for that sort of thing.
But if your I keep saying receptionist because people call them different things. What do you call them?
Customer service assistants.
Yeah.
But in reality, receptionists.
Because you can export lots, if you've got a great booking system, all you do is export the report from last month, for instance. You can see all of your team down the side. It's got the occupancy rate, it's got their average sale, it's got how many clients they saw, how many new clients they saw. All you do is upload that Excel spreadsheet, put it into ChatGPT and say, please analyze this. Really think about it, ChatGPT. You have to tell them to really analyze it. And then print me out a report that helps me, in my one-to-ones to tell the team what they should be focused on more. That this retention rate is dropping each month. It will just do all that for you. But that's what I think the team should be, policing that for the salon owner who's still on the shop floor.
Aren't you worried it's going to make people lazy? Because they think, oh, it's okay, I don't have to worry about that. ChatGPT will do it. Well, actually, what you have to worry about is the personable bit of your job, is the empathy, is the customer engagement.
You should be even better at that.
You should be.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, does it not make... That's my worry, that it's just going to sort of take so much off people that they're just going to be sitting back thinking, this is great. I haven't really got, oh, hi, yeah, you're here for your 11 o'clock appointment. Yeah, I don't want that to happen. I worry about that. I worry about it, how lazy it's going to make all of us. Because your mate Elon, didn't he say that in, X many years' time, most of the jobs, I mean, what are humans going to do? How are we going to earn money? I don't
get that part. I truly don't understand that part. But
can you tell us, Elon? We want to know.
Actually, I'm going to just...
Deep dive. I hate that
deep
expression.
dive.
Let's do a deep dive.
We're just wondering, why does Elon Musk think that there's going to be no jobs in sort of 10 or 15 years' time? Or I think maybe it's 30 years. But what does that look like for the salon industry, for instance, hairdressing? Why would that be replaced? And why would no one have any jobs? Because you still need things done.
Elon Musk has often talked about the rise of advanced AI and automation, suggesting that in a few decades, many tasks, especially repetitive or predictable ones, could be handled by machines. But the salon industry is an interesting one. While some aspects could be automated, like simpler haircuts or digital consultations, there's an inherently personal, creative, and social element to hairdressing. People want the human touch, whether it's a stylist's eye for detail, the conversation, or the trust factor. Even with AI, people will still crave human-driven experiences when it comes to personal care. So, while the world may shift, I'd say salons and hairdressers are safe from being entirely replaced.
So we know that we're pretty safe. We are pretty safe. It's how our customers are going to behave, which is a bit of the unknown. We don't really know that yet. And it's how we can fit this square peg into the round hole that is the hair and beauty industry.
Yeah.
Because that's how I feel about it.
Completely. But I think the more that people need to cut costs, unfortunately, they're going to look at the unproductive parts of the business. And I say unproductive, non-revenue generating, not non-productive, because front of house assistants, they're very productive.
Non-productive exactly.
Yeah. So non-income generating.
Exactly.
So I think that that's going to be something that you shouldn't be ashamed to look into AI, because it should be making your business more efficient. It's just a salon owner can choose how they want to do it, but they shouldn't be scared of it. It's here. It's not just coming.
Yeah, it is scary to someone, especially of my age. It's scary when we remember a world when, there were no mobile phones, there wasn't any internet. So it is a bit daunting.
But using it as a tool rather than seeing it as...
Well, that's why I've tried to embrace it, and I've tried to use it for things. I had to use it for something the other day that I had a big fallout with my bank, and I actually had it under the table when I went to make my complaint. And, it had all my rights, banking rights, and what I can expect of the bank. So, yeah, brilliant for that. I suppose, going back to our receptionists, our customer service assistants, they have a lot to deal with, and we are probably going to give them another load of shit to deal with this surcharge thing.
Yeah. What's that all about?
To talk about. So, with the business rates coming, and I think we talked about this, this is going to be massive for a lot of, and I have to be fair to our Scottish friends. They haven't had any of the assistance. The devolved nations have all been doing their own thing when it comes to business rates. So they haven't even had any help.
Oh, right. Okay.
So, they're like, get over it. Is that a Scottish accent?
Fucking hell.
Anyway.
I thought I was better at accents, but that is something else.
Here, and they are all said, well, you've been lucky, you English.
No, do it again in the accent.
No. Anyway, so the interesting thing is we've got these business rates coming. Now, obviously, if you load up the prices and you're paying commission, you have to get to X that you need for every client to add on to every bill, you've got to top end it. So X has to be X times 2.
Yeah.
Right? If you need to make £2 on a bill to cover your business rates on every client's bill, you've got to actually charge 4 plus VAT to get the 2 to pay the business rates, right? Or whatever your percentage that you pay your team is. But we all know our payroll's like more than 50%. So you're going to have to top load it. So then that's worse for the customer to have to pay a £5 than it is for the customer to pay £2. But the £2 has got to be right at the bottom. So that it's not shared, it's not becomes part of the bill. It's just like almost like an extra surcharge. And that's what a lot of...
Like a restaurant does?
Well, I don't want to call it service charge because then people think it's tips. It's not tips. It's like, and me and Rich had this conversation the other day, and he said, we're just going to have to say to people, there's a surcharge on your bill to cover the business rates. So at the bottom of the bill, it's plus £2, and that is only to cover the business rates.
That's fair.
And that's what, but of course, it's our poor old customer service assistants
that get it
have
in the
to
end.
deal with this.
So So is that what you're doing? You're going to do, or you've done it?
I think we're going to have to.
So
a lot of
£2?
salons have done it already.
Right. Okay.
And they've done like £2.50, £2, Central London ones where the business
Interesting.
rates are astronomical, right? Or some of them have done it by service and said if it's technical service or a service over a certain amount, it's £3. If it's under a certain amount, it's £2 or whatever. But yes, just to pay the business. And that brings me back to the whole Ryanair thing that we were talking about, where the Michael O'Leary went to the restaurant and got his bill and a steak and a glass of wine and that, and then at the bottom was use of the knife, use of the fork, use of the oxygen, use of the napkin, laundry of the napkin, la la la, which is very funny.
Yeah.
But it's almost the same thing.
It is. Because, yeah, we can't ignore it. But like you say, as long as also that you explain to the person that's going to be answering the phone very, very clearly and role play it maybe, how to deal with, because you're going to get some angry clients that they have to explain it. But again, ChatGPT is very good for this. Like, we have to put a surcharge on. How can we explain this to our clients? What's a script to say to the clients? What's a script for me to tell my staff? It will give all you the different types of variations for you. But I think they're the person that's going to get it in the neck, and they really need to.
And they always get it in the neck for everything.
They
And I
need to
do
be
feel
clear.
sorry for them.
It is bad. But okay. So, yeah, I think that's really what I wanted to speak about, was just how much money it is costing. And I'm not saying everybody is bad who's on front of house. I'm just saying it's an investment. It's it's not an income producing role, but it can be if you're managing it right.
And they have to understand that, in a world where jobs like that could be redundant in years to come.
Yeah.
I think they would understand that. And I think it's a good opportunity, like you say, to have a little bit of a refresh into what the
reset.
role is. The role
Agreed.
has changed.
Yep.
Everything's changed.
Yep. Everything's always changing. But okay. Well,
Evolving.
evolving. I like
We're
that.
evolving
We're
into
evolving.
this computer-generated life.
Well, stay tuned for our next session. But what I would say is customer service is just obviously such an important part of the role, and maybe try and give your team a bit of kudos for the amount of shit they have to deal with as well.
To deal with shit, and also, remembering details of customers, personal details, which is what makes the experience so valuable for people.
Yep.
We've heard it ourselves, haven't we, from ChatGPT? That's what they want.
That's what they want.
So we hope you've enjoyed this edition of the Blowout. Please like, share, subscribe. And also, we want to hear your thoughts about AI. What are you doing in your businesses? How are you going to introduce it? What are you going to do with it? Or are you already doing it?
Yeah, and what do you think's what could be replaced with AI or technology as the years go by for salons? That'd be really interesting to hear.
Join us again.